Rightio, well welcome back to part 4.2 of the Troopy build and part 2 really of the electrical section of the build. Last episode we ran through a lot. We did a lot of cabling, a lot of pre-wiring, we ran in some DAS switches inside the cab, we installed our solar panels, we were in underneath the bonnet and we were installing a new start battery, secondary battery and lots and lots and lots of cabling. This episode is no different. Stay tuned, there is lots to get debunk and get through. So we've just been tidying up some cables on the inside of the car and we're just roughing in the last few that we've got to on this left hand side of the car. So this is where our bench seat is going to go, and we've got a few little switches and then a few power outlets and a few phone chargers to go in here. So we're just roughing in these cables. Obviously to get them all the way along, I'm going to bring them up to the front of the car and then bring them across to the where the batteries and obviously where all the fuses and everything are. So just a quick and easy way to obviously get them up and in is I actually just chucked in a piece of 32mm electrical conduit up in above. So like these little braces kind of only go to about here, and I was able to fit in a piece of 32mm conduit roughly around about, I don't know, 1500mm long, and then actually just feed it up across the top, nice and solid, kind of sits there, and I've just zip tied it in the middle, and it makes it nice, easy. Pretty happy with that. So we literally got to now just tidy up these cables on the inside, and I think we've just got one more cable to rough in, and we're onto the batteries. So we're finally up to installing the BCDC chargers inside the car. So you may have heard that we were previously installing a lot of Victron gear. 95% of our gear is Victron, but we have got some Redarc BCDC chargers here. So we've got 125 and 140. So the reason for that is they are a little bit better and a bit more resilient to the heat compared to the Victron types. So because obviously in Australia, then we're going to be traveling in some very remote places in some very hot temperatures. The guys at Carmen Automotive over there, Heiner, has directed us more towards the Redarc because they are better in the heat. So pretty interesting, as like obviously we kind of wanted to go Victron gear. And look, he's recommended to do this because he's had clients come back to him. So that's why we've opted to go with the Redarcs in this instance. So we've got another little aluminium infill panel, which has been awesome. So we custom made that one and have got it ready to kind of go in the car as well to make use for obviously the chargers and get them out of the battery box. So we've got that ready to go. We've got a few little MIDI fuse holders, some battery link connectors, and yeah, literally we're just gonna chuck this together, start obviously knead it up and get ready to connect all the rest of the cables. Alrighty, so we are finally on to the ensuite section. It honestly feels like forever since we have been working on any sort of the fit out because we've just been doing so much electrical. Still doing electrical, but we are on to obviously fitting out obviously where our batteries are going to go. So just kind of marking out where our VJ is going to come down on all the sides and what we're doing with regard to, you know, the draw here and you know, the batteries in this section. We've also got the DC Hub from Egon. We're going to be putting that along the front here, which holds a lot of our fuses and bits and pieces. So we're going to be putting that along the front, so making sure that it fits. And then basically, yeah, just kind of doing a bit of a mark out and making sure everything's nice and tidy, and we can jump out and start chucking it together. Pretty keen to yeah, get it going. And then on to the next piece and on to the next piece.
So we are just test fitting the ensuite section at the moment, prior to roughing in a few of the cables. So we've got our Victron Touch 50 here that we're going to be putting in the car for monitoring batteries, fridge temperatures, tank levels, etc, etc. So we're just going to try to work out, obviously coffee machine is an absolute essential for us. We had a little heart attack that we thought, obviously by adding the timber on the roof, that it wasn't going to reach, but we got plenty of room above the top of the coffee machine. We've got to work out a way to mount this down. It's not on the priority list at the moment as such, but we're just trying to work out where we're going to get the power for that from, where we're going to put the Touch 50, and then we've got a couple of USB outlets as well that we want to chuck down here. And then we've obviously got the switch panel that goes along the front, travel buddy, drawer for the cameras and drones, etc, etc. So just trying to make sure it obviously works out. But yeah, getting there, it looks really good. Happy to finally get some VJ on this piece, and it's starting to come together. So not long now until we can actually, you know, paint it and get it in. So it's looking pretty good. Looking good. As a part of the ensuite section and the battery section inside the car, we are installing a travel buddy at the top section of it. So right next to that, we've also got some switches that are going to be inside the car. So this is kind of like the only switches that we've got up inside the cab. We've got a little section here for like the 12 volt and 240 volt hot water system. We've got our 240 volt inverter, a Starlink switch, a travel buddy switch, and the cabin lights. So basically, we've got some custom made stainless steel plates that go around these switches that we've bought. So we just got some nice little belt press stainless steel switches. So they look nice and they're going to suit in well with the stainless steel plates. We got these custom made up so they suit the hole perfectly, and they've also labeled to exactly what we wanted, because we couldn't find anyone who was going to do it for us. So we went to like an electrical wholesaling company who make labels for switchboards and bits and pieces, and they were able to obviously make them for us. So pretty excited to get them in, and we just did up a little test piece here. Important to do a test run because this is piece number 3 of getting the travel buddy cut out, and we didn't want to make it piece number 4. So yeah, didn't want to waste any more VJ of trying to get this in, and we made the test piece, and now we know what size hole we need to cut it out, and we can get those in and ready to go. Okay, so we're just wiring up the top end of the tower. So the travel buddy, a few outlets. This is where our touchscreen is coming out. We've got a 240 volt power point just here that we're going to be feeding in. We've got all of our switches roughed in, made up a bit of like a loom for these that are going to be nice, and they obviously just nice plug and play now. So they're all ready to go. So they'll go on the front side there. Finishing up a few cables here for the switch for the light inside the ensuite now. And then literally once I have done this, we're on to putting a panel on the inside, roughing these cables down into the battery well to get them out of the way, and then on to installing the batteries. A few of the Victron bits of gear and some cabling to obviously make sure it's nice and neat and tidy. But that's all got to go in. So first off is going to be the batteries, and make up a bracket for them to be fixed down onto the actual piece of timber that we've got there. So pretty excited. Just mounting up this little panel inside where the batteries are going to go. So currently we've got, yeah, this is our little battery section now, and we're also going to be using some finger duct here to help run some of the cables.
I'm just going to chuck in the batteries in a second now and kind of just test fit where we're going to be running everything. Potentially just, you know, test fit where the MPPT is going to go, the Turbo GX along the back wall, some of our Starlink cables. We've got our aircon duct running through the top here, airline water, more cables running from the other side of the fit out. Cables coming in everywhere. Obviously a big electrical system, so we're trying to do that. And I'm just going to try and keep it neat and, you know, just manage the cables the best way I can using finger duct. We have got the relay hub as well, which we want to try and fit in. I might actually try and see if I can fit it on this wall, as long as I can maybe fit the Turbo GX, the relay hub, and the MPPT. Yeah, look, this is just a matter of a little bit of like a bit like Lego, or, you know, a bit of Tetris, trying to work out where everything kind of goes to make it kind of fit in the best way it possibly can. So yeah, it's going to look pretty good actually. So putting the first lot of cables into obviously our setup here. We've got our relay hub in, the MPPT in, the Turbo GX in, which is great. We've just got to finish making up our battery hold down clamps. We're going to be putting that in here to hold down the battery. Just need to get a rod that kind of goes down here to hold the batteries down, which is good. But while I've got this out and we've got a bit of space, we're going to run some cables. So I'm just going to start running the cables from the MPPT through to the front here to where the Egon hub is going to go on the front here. So the cables from the MPPT go to here, as well as the solar cables, the output from that, as well as the solar input cables as well. So everything basically kind of runs through the Egon hub, which is a pretty good basis point. So yeah, first lot of cables get to go in. Pretty exciting. I said it a little while ago in like maybe in one of the first or second episodes, and one of the main reasons why we obviously made 4 separate pieces for our fit out was, one reason is literally right now is I can sit down on this chair, tuck this up on a bench, and try and fit off as much as we can inside the car, like outside of the car. So basically I can set all this up, be nice and comfortable sitting down and be fitting off cables, or as many as I can inside here, rather than literally this is going to be on the floor of the Troopy, rather than hunching over or lying down inside the footwell of the car with the front seat out trying to wire all this up. So it makes life so much easier if you like just think ahead of going, okay, well I can, you know, wire up all this stuff outside of the car to a certain point. Obviously we've got a lot of cables inside the car that have got to come in here, which I'm not looking forward to, but at the same time this obviously just allows us to get really good and easy access outside of the car, and then chuck it in and get as much as we can done out here nice and comfortable, and just makes life easy trying to, you know, rough in cables or fit stuff off or be able to move things in and out. So if you can, try and do it, but obviously yeah, not everything's like this, but we're getting there.
So we're just testing the fit out for the first time of the battery and ensuite section now that we've covered it in VJ. Just testing how it all fits in, and I've already found one thing that we need to fix up.
Yeah, so we've built the section here like right up to where the fuel inlet kind of comes in on the car, just here. So we're just having to make sure that we have to take off like a little 45-degree notch on the corner here, just to take off that bit of the VJ. It's not too bad. We were just about to stick this on, and I had an epiphany going, oh, it's going to foul with the fuel inlet part here. So it's a bit of a pain part of the build, but you can only really do what you can do in these Troopies. So yeah, pretty happy with how it's turned out so far. Like it comes up nice and flush through here at the moment, which is really good. You know, the VJ lines continue all the way through, which is something I was very OCD about
You know, we've got a little gap on the bench, which is great for obviously movement. So, you know, because they're two separate pieces, we've left a little bit of like almost like an expansion joint type thing. So we're just going to put a bit of foam in there to kind of make sure, yeah, if there's any sort of different movement. We are going to screw these two pieces together, but we're just kind of, you know, giving ourselves whatever opportunity we can to, you know, not damage anything or put too much pressure on where it needs to. So really happy with, yeah, how that's turned out for sure. So can't really complain. And then, yeah, literally just gonna take off that little section there, and we're gonna glue this on, and then we're ready to paint, which is gonna be pretty exciting because it means that literally 2 full pieces are done with regard to the VJ. What do you reckon, boss?
Yeah, I'm excited to paint it and get it looking like this. Definitely pays to do a test piece before you cut the real thing.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to make another piece.
Because you've had to do that before a few times.
Oh, too many times.
We are learning from our mistakes as we go.
Bloody ripper. We have finally stuck that piece of VJ onto the ensuite section, and it is looking good. So basically it's all ready to go to chuck the batteries in now and kind of obviously get it up into the car. We could do some final bits and pieces like painting and a few touch-ups here and there. But pretty exciting. We are onto the next stage, which is the aircon and the inverter. But for the moment, we're going to be leaving you here, and thank you very much for watching this episode. It's been a little bit sporadic with regard to the electrical. That's just how it goes on inside my head, but we are getting there. So we've got a lot of components going in the next episode, electrically wise, and we're going to be fitting off this ensuite and fitting off the batteries and fitting off all those components. So stay tuned, you know, like, subscribe, do your thing, and we'll see you next week.